concept.
Mm.
Because for me, I don't have a shadow. It's all me. It's all me. Shadow to me implies hidden, something wrong, something that needs to change. No, it's all of me, bitches. That's what it is. And the more I sit in essence and the more I embody that integrity, it's going to be nothing else. So fuck shadow. That's another new age.
No, yeah, I'm digging.
Well, to me, like the whole shadow thing, right, is a no age concept. Because shadow, to me, implies some kind of hidden, something's wrong, something's not right. It's something lurking, something that you weren't expecting, shadow, the shadow people, etc. But in true effect, when I'm sitting in essence and in that integrity, there's no fucking shadow, it's all of me. It is
That's so
what it is.
it's polarized, the light and the shadow. It's duality. Therefore, it's matrix construct. It's not unified. It's not
Well,
essence-based. Ooh, yeah, you're right there.
so the whole
And
shadow,
that's not even going into judgment.
pardon?
That's not even, well, I suppose shadow work also implies judgment as well.
But this is wrong.
Something, yeah, it could be, but then shadow work really doesn't deal more with wrong. But it would be wrong because you want to change it, right? Something that needs to be changed. Yeah.
Let's define shadow. Well, let's define shadow. What is the shadow? Because this is this thing, these new words. Shadow. That's your shadow.
Yeah.
Let's work on the shadow. Well, what is the fucking shadow? Define shadow. Because for me, it's a no age fucking con. There is no shadow. There is no spoon.
Shadow is like, to me, it always implies like it's dark, it's a bit fucked up, it's got issues, it's got heavy shit, like, lots of grief, lots of fucking anger and trauma.
It feels wrong.
Just dark.
Feels wrong. It feels wrong. But I suppose the reason, like in this conversation it's coming up because we're talking about shadow, is because when I went in and, really tried to define shadow, etc., I could really only see it as a no age concept. And when I was in that reclaiming my cosmology inside the mirror ball, so to speak.
Yeah.
It was like, that wasn't a shadow, that was inverted spells. There's a big difference.
It's because it also implies that it's yours, that you're emanating that, like really emanating that it's not sitting in your field and you're not like vibing through that, whether it's a program or an implant or an overlay or a mirror tech. It's like what shadow work implies is that it's you.
I know.
Or like it's naturally you. But within this kind of work, it's just not essence.
That's it.
Wow. It's a whole new way of thinking about it.
Or is it
feeling
just
about it.
the illusion shattered? Bye-bye, Santa. Another killing Santa moment.
Another killing Santa, yeah.
There is no shadow.
That's not, yeah. And that's not to imply that doesn't feel real, but it's like, it's getting it in the right context. It's getting it in the right angles. Because this busts shadow stuff, but in such a different way. In such a different way.
So
wow,
is it for the new age matrix concept it is?
Yeah. She'll deal with her in a way she sees fits.
Well, the thing is, right, the jinn. I was talking before about, these A10 or off-planet organics that are like, they're like, when I say they're like us, what I mean is they've had handlers, etc. too. Some of their handlers have been our handlers. So I'm seeing as the Egyptian magics dispel, as the whole spell is crumbling, then so is the hold on these other jinn. But but I'm serious about that shadow thing. I've been looking at the whole concept of it. When I went into that reclaiming thing and I sat in my chart, there was no shadow in there. It wasn't a shadow. It was mirror inversion. Wowza.
It really is. It seems like like you would say it's very 80s. It's an old concept.
Well, this is the thing. It's a concept and people run with it and try and fit it in their head. Oh, that's your bad side. Well, is it?
I like the idea of embracing it. I genuinely do. It just feels like it's more fun. I mean, in integrity, of course. I'm not going to go around,
I'm an asshole. It's great.
I'm not going to.
It's working for me.
But it's like, I like the idea that I can embrace what I always deem to be my shadow, but like bring it more into essence,
I just think it's part of that new age fuckery. There's something wrong with you. You've got to fix this. Everything's got a shadow side. Da, 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 da. And again, I'm not saying there's not something wrong at times, but what I am saying is it your shadow or is it the spell of inversion?
Big.
Well, the spell of inversion
comes
from the outside. The bullshit from the inside. Since when was essence ever bad?
That's it. That's why I'm thinking that shadow, or whatever is termed as shadow, is just the crap outside of you. Is it yours?
Well,
someone else?
I think really, if I was going to define shadow, I'd use the word ego. And by ego, I'd say the arrogance that blinds you to your truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would dig that.
Digging with a shovel.
Yeah, I'd dig that, yeah. But it's also like, when I feel into it as well, whatever's within the whole shadow realm, it's like taking all the great things that your essence is and then twisting it. So it's got like
but who
shaming
twisted it? You or that's right.
All the outside shit. So it's all that influence. Oh God, it's just the fucking Matrix. That's all it is.
The spell.
You know what? It feels like that. Okay, this is going to sound really fucking weird, but this is how I see it. It's like I see that. Oh God, okay. So you got the essence over here, and then you got everything that's not essence sitting here.
Yeah.
And what I feel like that shadow shit is doing, rather than dividing it from what's in here to what's out here, it's like taking one side over here and one side over here, making it right or wrong. There's no delineation between what's essence and what's not essence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're believing somebody else's publicity about you.
Yeah, but it's like even that's in like, yeah. Anyway, in my head, it makes so much more sense.
That's all that matters, darling. That's all that matters. It's what you understand. Yeah. It so is what you understand, what you get with it. But I just, in looking at this whole idea of shadow, I just think it's an outdated noughties concept.
I think it's another distraction.
Let's call it another distraction. I dig it when people say you should do your shadow work. I dig that. But define shadow, because what really is the shadow? Because there's fucking nothing wrong with you. But there's a lot wrong with the inversion of you.
As an example, is really important.
So we're working on the inversion, not your shadow, because the shadow connotates that there's something wrong with you. The inversion connotates that it's how the matrix has fucked you and you react, and then how to clear it. So it's not innately you in the sense of you're a complete asshole. It's how you've been fucked with. When I then would look at someone again and say, oh, that's your shadow, my definition of that shadow is ego, where the arrogance of the ego is keeping you out of the truth of who you are.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Too big for a bumper sticker.
Maybe a little.
That's a t-shirt.
I like that. Yeah, but I think I really like that, what you just said about all of that.
Thank you.
No one else says stuff like that.
Well,
I don't know anyone else who says.
Well, look, I would say I would agree with you, because I think that you have to push beyond concepts. You have to have that experience wisdom, which is the theme of our talk. Experience is the new black. The only black.
The only black.
So, you know, agreed. And since I've been having the experience and listening to people, oh, the shadow this, the shadow that, I'm really looking at it and feeling into it, and particularly working with that cosmology thing, the, you know, reclaiming your cosmology. That's really redefined the truth of that terminology or that concept. And I think it's going to happen a lot more. If people can drop the whole, you know, fucking labels and actually look at what it means, they might be able to break through a little bit more for themselves.
Yeah, completely.
If they're stuck in that ego, honey, and their arrogance is so far up their ass, nothing's going to help.
Nothing will shift that.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that. Keep wallowing in your own shit. See you in the fifth dimension.